Mr. McCord, I beg of you, leave this alone. No good can come of this.
Mrs. Renfield, now listen to me. A few minutes ago, I think I may have stumbled onto the most encouraging, most valuable information in unlocking this entire mystery. So I am determined to...
To dredge up the past. To put us both through that horrible nightmare again. And in doing so, you jeopardize everything you've come to cherish with Nola and her child.
But that's just what I'm trying to tell you. I do not believe the jeopardy is as great as it was before.
How can you say that when you're putting your entire life in danger by going back there? I beg of you, won't you wait a little longer before leaving? If not for yourself and Nola, at least for me.
I have a terrible premonition, Fritz. It's as if everything is closing in on me. The dogs are gone, Nola and Kelly Louise are gone now. Mr. McCord will return from New York tomorrow to this lonely, empty house. Where will it all end?
Well, it was a very confusing and tragic turn of events for us. The pain that I felt when I learned that the boy I loved, like my own son, was responsible for killing my husband was like a wound to my heart from a sword. Well, even though I mourned my husband's death, at the same time, I knew that what people were saying about Mr. McCord was not true.
Well, what did you do?
I left Edinburgh. The house that my husband and I had lived in all those years. It is still standing the way I left it those years back. But I knew that I could not stay there. I knew that I couldn't put things away or settle the estate. All I had to do was in my mind that I must find Mr. McCord, that I must go to him and do what I could to help him.
But what could you do, Mrs. Renfield?
Well, I could give him comfort and safety. But that is why we fled.
And became fugitives.
And changed your name.
But we should be grateful that he's rid of us so he can go on with his work in peace. Well, that is no concern of yours. Now, if you will please leave this room, Fritz and I have work to do. But you would be very wise, Helena, not to return to the third floor.
That Miss Mancini has a terrible temper.
That tone and vile language is her way of intimidating people, Fritz. You must learn to stand up to her.
Who, me?
Yes. And while she is in this house, you must follow her all the time. Make sure she does not go back to the third floor.
Going all the way from Edinburgh.
No. I would have come from the ends of this earth, and you know that.
I didn't do it. I wasn't responsible for Professor Renfield's death. I didn't reset those charges. Silas did. He told me he did when we were in the cave. He said it was because of some imagined relationship between Devon and I.
Well, I'm glad that you finally found out the truth. Perhaps now you will put the past behind you and think only of the future.